Hello folks, Game 3 and the deciding match between Startale Life and Azubu Supernova. It looked to me like Life actually did a manual split for his drones there. Very few times I see anybody do that. The only reason I would think people do that is when they all auto-spawn, they all kind of come into one mineral patch and spread out. And sometimes you have drones to come around behind, and that delays things a little bit. So if you're as good as Life and probably just practiced your opening splits hundreds of times, you're probably just slightly more efficient doing it that way. Case in point though, there he is. Let's just say, if you're going to waste all the time doing that, you might as well be getting your close mineral patches. I've started doing that a bit more myself. We see a supply cancel there for Life. I started doing that a little bit more myself, is just trying to direct my SCVs to the better mineral patches. I think the opening 4 minutes of my play is probably my best time. My openings are really polished. Macro is really good. But in the grand scheme of things, that extra few minerals isn't as big of a deal in a lower league sense. But at the higher level, it can be a big deal. I remember somebody had mentioned once that if you build your supply depot closer to command center, that could be a difference of up to 30 minerals, as opposed to building it at a normal wall off. Just because the distance between moving is that mining opportunity. This isn't as big of a rush distance, but some maps that is the case. So building your supply depots right next to your base allows you to get that little bit of an advantage. We are playing on Whirlwind, so it doesn't surprise me to see Life go for the hatch first. We saw 9 pool in the first game. The second game was a hatch first as well. Once again we see a gas before pool. It's so standard to see Terrans go for their Reaper opening. It just gives you so much more opportunity to be able to scout well without having to sacrifice an SCV. Reapers are faster, they can get away, and your SCV can stay mining. So I generally try to do the same thing. In this case we do have the command center first. The standard awkward wall off that we get from a lot of people who want to go command center first. We did see a propensity from Supernova to go for a low ground expansion. But in this case, this map, for being one of the largest in the map pool, is also one of the most likely to have early cheeses because of that low ground expansion opportunity and so forth. We don't have a Reaper coming out this time. He's just sending the SCV. And he'll immediately get down the bunker so that he can worry only about getting up a great economy and not about any type of very simple pressure. Only a couple of lings out of Life, enough to do a little bit of scouting, maybe take the watchtower. It is cross spawns. I don't know if RSL is mandatory cross spawns. I wouldn't think so, because neither of these players scouted cross spawns first. Though many of the tournaments I see will do that automatically, just to be able to guarantee a little bit longer games. And it doesn't give you the awkwardness of different types of expansions. What I mean by that is, in this case, if the Terran was in the top right, the Zerg player would almost certainly expand this way, as opposed to what is the more natural third. Whereas if the Terran was down on this side, you would have to take this space, because you don't really want to be expanding towards your opponent. So in this case, cross spawns gives both players no advantage when it comes to the rushing into the other person's expansion. Nothing too out of the ordinary yet. Still only have the one gas from our Zerg player that he took early on, and he's using it to get a really fast lair. Now goes down the second gas. He hasn't made too much. A couple more lings here. They do have speed. Pretty sure they have speed. Yes, they do. He got that more just to be able to control this side of the map. But if you look at the Terran here, he's been perfectly fine to delay his attack. His first 2 hellions are just getting ready to pop out. And it looks like he's going to be going for Hellbat drops again. Very successful in game 2. His Hellbat drops managed to get something like 15 to 17 workers. And you see a lot of Zerg players just using speed to deal with the early hellions and the early reapers, instead of getting out that roach tack. If they don't get out that roach tack, which is the only really good tier 1 tech that the Zerg player has to deal with Hellbats, Hellbat drops can do so much damage. They'll cut through your Zerglings, they'll cut through your drones, they'll cut through your queens, because nothing deals enough damage and has the armor. We see a spine going down now. Did he scout the Hellbat? No, he didn't. It's probably a reasonable assumption. It's very popular right now. It's very trendy. It's en vogue to be able to get the Hellbat drops going. We see a spire once again and no roach warren. So there's this really small timing window that Supernova has once again to be able to get out those Hellbat drops. Just killed off a small little pile of Zerglings. Didn't get any damage done on his units either. And this is really keeping the Zerg player on the 2 bases. By this point, they generally want to have a third. The 7-minute mark is kind of an early to standard level at which you really want to have those out. Now we see, once again, the Hellbats coming in. And only lings in position to defend. 2 queens running out right away to try to take care of the medevac. That is your key, is to get down that medevac. Nice little juke. He is going to get back there, but he does see the spine. Oh, not a great move there. He's going to have to drop. Drop. Oh, boy. How many of these things damage do you do? 5? 4. No talents. Acid Spines does 9. Yeah, only needed 1 more shot. And this is an effective thing. There are 10 mutas about to spawn, but there's not much you can really do against these Hellbats here. Good creep spread, connecting all of his bases. This is going to return home. Ooh, more Hellbats. These are about to get shut down horribly. Just having the spine. I usually see a spore too, so the spine is quite interesting. He is going to try to chase down these medevacs, and he might get this one. Is boost ready? It is. Let's see if he's paying attention though. Nice grab there by Supernova. He should boost to get close enough back. All he needs to do is get to his bunker and he'll be alright. This did allow the other drop though to come in, which Startale Life should see. I do like that Supernova is not afraid to go for... Let's see if he gets many drones here. Lots of damage. Not great target firing, unfortunately. Oh, that'd have been a great shot. How many did he get there? Got 6 so far. I don't know if that's all just from this drop, though. So much damage. Beer break. Good awareness here by Life. Does have a really good idea of everything that's going on. This is a pretty ragtag army. There's only 12 Marines in here. They have no upgrades other than Stimpack. Against, what, how many mutas he's got here anyways? He's got more mutas than there are Marines. So this attack might just be to try to, I don't know, maybe just make Life feel a little bit more nervous. Ooh, didn't quite trigger that other one. But there's enough mutas here to really deal with this attack quite effectively. I don't think he's going to be able to get much done. Lots of banelings here. It's a pretty good mine hit, but it would have been better to hit those banelings. These mutas will regenerate pretty quickly and be just fine. I just don't think this is enough units here from Supernova to really threaten. You'd be better off just to put on a little bit of pressure and then head home. He is taking his own third base behind this. He's going to try to deny a little bit of creep. I mean, I think that Life has enough to just walk over this army and kill it. But he is playing a little bit more hesitant. He doesn't want to get a random mine hit that kills everything. These banelings would crush almost his entire army. There's only one marauder in here to tank damage. Everything else would just get destroyed. Life's pulling a little bit of a supply lead. If we look at the economy, they're about where they should be. 71 drones, 62 SCVs with the mules. That puts them about in a reasonable position. What's been really good for Supernova throughout this, though, is that he's keeping the Zerg player at home and defending, as opposed to out here putting pressure on. Finally has some of the upgrades moving along here. If we look at the Zerg player, it looks as though both of these players have not really opted for a really upgrade-focused play. It's at the 14-minute mark, and they've only really finished their first-tier upgrades. But that's a choice, right? A lot of times you gotta choose. Do I want better tech, or do I want a bigger army? That's a lot of mutas. All fully healed up now. Up on this side, a couple more missile turrets going down. He's got a small window, but I don't think Life's going to take advantage of it. Still, this many mutalisks would be enough to power through these pretty quick. If there were some mines here, or a Thor, it'd be a different story with some splash. But because he does not, and I don't think that Supernova's aware that there's this big army sitting right outside his base. Nice raise. Still going to get focused down really fast. He's coming home to defend this. I don't know if I would have elected for the base trade either. I think it's smarter to come home and defend. But, wow. Banelings just destroyed all those SCVs. Life's got a pretty huge lead right now. Looks like he's trying to focus down that command center. Nope. Nope, doesn't get saved either. These mutas should be able to get away without too much punishment either. This was a really good move by Life. Sacrificed a lot of lings and banelings, but those are cheap. It was more important for him to be able to use these mutas. He pretty much overproduced mutas to be able to do that. Now the Terran's going to be the one stuck at home, and these medevacs he cannot afford to lose cheaply. Just good dancing here. Just picking off units, picking off tech. These mutas can leave at any time they want and start healing up. Supernova's in a pretty bad spot now. If we look at the income, he's at pretty much a third of his Zerg opponent, who's just really gotten up this other base started here. I think was there a drop that I didn't see? Perhaps. Still a pretty high DPS army from Supernova. Let's see how good his splits are, though. Seemed alright. He took a lot of damage there. Oh no. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Even off of creep, speed banelings, pretty difficult to deal with. He has remade his command center back at home. Wasn't a lot to gain here anyways. More it's about the gas that he can still get out of this base. Big flock of mutas coming in this side. This is a lot of widowmines, but none of them are in position to defend right now. We're just seeing Life pick apart his opponent just so methodically. The +2 will finish, but yeah, that was a pretty good point to GG. There was no way that this army was going to be able to really defend at home against this. He had to just take a risk that Life was going to play passively for whatever reason. So the game, the series, it was a Startale Life. Great series too, by the way. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We should have some more action from the RSL coming at you real soon.